Hey guys, I'm back. Here we're gonna take a walk on the dark side. No. Here we're on the light side. Yeah. So according to Christian teaching, the normal collective state of humanity is one of original sin. Sin is a word that has been greatly misunderstood and misinterpreted. Literally translated from the ancient Greek, in which the New Testament was written, to sin means to miss the mark. To miss the mark. As an anchor who misses the target. As an archer who misses the target. So to sin means to miss the point of human existence. To miss the point of human existence. It means to live unskillfully, blindly, and thus to suffer and cause suffering. Again, the term, stripped of its cultural baggage and misinterpretation, points to the dysfunction inherent in the human condition. The achievements of humanity are impressive and undeniable. We have created sublime works of music, literature, painting, architecture, and sculpture. More recently, science and technology have brought about radical change in the way we live and have enabled us to do and create things that would have been considered miraculous even 200 years ago. No doubt, the human mind is highly intelligent. Yet its very intelligence is tainted by madness. It's tainted by madness. Yeah. Science and technology have magnified the destructive impact that the dysfunction of the human mind has upon the planet, other life forms, and upon humans themselves. That is why the history of the 20th century is where that dysfunction, that collective insanity, can be most clearly recognized. A further factor is that this dysfunction is actually intensifying and accelerating. The dysfunction is accelerating. The First World War broke out in 1914. Destructive and cruel wars motivated by fear, greed, and the desire for power had been common occurrence throughout human history, as had slavery, torture, and widespread violence inflicted for religious and ideological reason. Humans suffered more at the hands of each other than through natural disaster. Humans have suffered more at the hands of each other than through natural disaster. It's potent, eh? Wow. I told you we're in madness. Told you. It's total madness. I keep saying it's total madness, but the default state is madness. You know, we're gonna put the finger on it one day. We're gonna do enough reading, enough reflection that we're gonna find answers. For sure. Oh look, back at that spot. Cryogenic heroes. Boom. Powerful. Yeah. Humans suffered more at the end of each other than through natural disaster. Crazy, yeah? By the year 1914, however, the highly intelligent human mind had invented not only the internal combustion engine, but also bombs, machine guns, submarines, flame towers, and poison gas. Intelligence in the service of madness. In static trench warfare in France and Belgium, millions of men perished to gain a few miles of mud. When the war was over in 1918, the survivors looked in horror and incomprehension upon the devastation left behind. 10 million humans being killed and many more maimed or disfigured. Never before had human madness been so destructive in its effect, so clearly visible. Little did they know that this was only the beginning. Only the beginning. Yeah. By the end of the century, the number of people who died a violent death at the end of their fellow humans would rise to more than 100 million. 100 million. They died not only through wars between nations, but also through mass exterminations and genocides, such as the murder of 20 million class enemy spies and traitors in the Soviet Union under Stalin, and the unspeakable horrors of the Holocaust in Nazi Germany. But this is discussable. Here, we're gonna read it, but there's things like the Holocaust, I question it. I question everything. I don't take everything for, we're gonna read it with a very high awareness. Yeah, we only need to watch the daily news on television to realize that the madness has not abated. Just open your TV, you'll see the madness. Kind of madness we're in. Crazy stuff. Very strange world. We have so much love in our heart and we're killing each other. Pure madness. Another aspect of the collective dysfunction of the human mind is the unprecedented violence that humans are inflicting on other life forms and the plane itself. The destruction of oxygen-producing forests and other plant and animal life, ill treatment of animals in factory farms, and poisoning of rivers, oceans, and air. Driven by greed, ignorant of their connectedness to the whole, humans persist in behavior that, if continued unchecked, can only result in their own destruction. Can only result into our own destruction. Wake up. The collective manifestation of the insanity that lies at the heart of the human condition constitute the greater part of the human history. It is to a large extent a history of madness, of pure madness. If the history of humanity were the clinical case history of a single human being, the diagnosis would have to be chronic paranoid delusions, a pathological propensity to commit murder and acts of extreme violence and cruelty against his perceived enemies, his own unconsciousness projected outward. Criminally insane, with a few brief, lucid intervals. That would clearly define us. No, that's what would define us. I think I'm going to repeat that one. Yeah, the collective manifestation of the insanity that lies at the heart of the human condition constitute the greater part of human history. It is to a large extent a history of madness. If the history of humanity were the clinical case history of a single human being, the diagnosis would have to be chronic paranoid delusion, a pathological propensity to commit murder and acts of extreme violence, and cruelty against his perceived enemies, his own unconsciousness projected outward. Criminally insane, with a few brief, lucid intervals. Peace out.